Your Sunday afternoon with us, NASCAR on Fox. The weather in the 70s, sunny here in Daytona. Translation, it's great out there. And Joey Logano will be the last guy to qualify, or at least try to win the pole for the Daytona 500 after finishing first earlier today in the clash. So let's head back up to Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. The track is open for the first of 2 rounds of qualifying. And the cars will proceed in the inverse order of their practice speeds. Jeffrey Earnhardt will be out there first. He'll make the first run. And Joey Logano will be last. At the end of the first round, we'll take a 10-minute break. The fastest 12 cars in round 1 will then compete for the pole. Earnhardt attempting his first start in what is now the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Daytona. First Daytona start. He did run 22 races last year with the best finish of 26th. Circle Sport Racing, Pat Trice, the crew chief.
Yeah, Mike, just a point of reference here. Last year's pole, 45.845 seconds, 196.314 miles per hour by Chase Elliott. I don't know, Jeff. Think we'll get anywhere near that today?
Well, it's interesting, DW, because yesterday the wind was blowing down the back straightaway as a tailwind, and we seem to think that that gives the teams a little more speed because it helps them get up to speed a little bit faster. But today seems to be blowing the opposite way, so I don't know if that's going to be conducive to those types of speeds that we saw last year. Not to mention we got a little bit smaller restrictor plate on the cars this year.
Now we'll lock in the front row for the 500 today. Everyone else their starting spot will depend on their finish in the 150-mile dual races on Thursday that you'll see live on FS1. There are 36 teams guaranteed into the race because they have the NASCAR team charters, and there are 6 teams that we either by being the fastest 2 of those 6 teams today or by racing their way in on Thursday. Jeffrey Earnhardt, 48.71 is the first time up. Here is Port Tobacco, Maryland's Timmy Hill. He'll be the second driver on the clock. For Rick Ware Racing, Carlos Contreras, the crew chief, and Timmy's attempting to make his first Daytona Cup start. He finished 34th last year at Dover.
Yeah, I was just going to say Jeffrey Earnhardt picked up a couple of tenths there from his practice speed yesterday, 48.93, so he picked up a tad, which is what you kind of want to do if it's possible.
And we spoke yesterday in practice as these cars were preparing for this qualifying session today, just how close, hundreds of seconds between the top 10, 13 positions. Well, it's a tight battle among these cars that are trying to qualify their way just into making the Daytona 500 as well.
And Timmy Hill is one of those 6 open cars hopeful of a Daytona 500 starting berth. And all of those 6 will run within the first.
Jeffrey Earnhardt picked up speed. Timmy Hill did not. So that actually flip-flopped them from practice, who could make this interesting.
Down the front stretch, 8,100 RPM for Timmy Hill. We've been seeing 8,300 yesterday from a number of cars. Here is Corey LaJoie, 3rd-generation driver, who is also one of those 6 open teams. His grandfather, Don LaJoie, the kingpin at the Danbury, Connecticut Race Arena. His father, Randy, a champion of NASCAR's Busch Series, now the Xfinity Series. So here's Corey driving for BK Racing, Doug Rickert, the crew chief. One of the 7 drivers trying to make their first Daytona 500.
Did you say Doug Rickert? Oh boy, there's a name that goes back a long way.
Yeah, at the age of I think 19, he crew chiefed Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Earnhardt to his first Cup championship.
19.
Kid from California.
Experience means a lot here at Daytona.
It really does. He was Michael's crew chief last year, I think, also, when he drove one of
the 6 open teams. 2 of them know they will race into the 500 by those qualifying times, if not earn a better position on Thursday. And the 2 slowest of the 6 open teams will know that their only chance to make the race will be to race in on Thursday. This is Canadian DJ Kennington attempting his first Daytona Cup start. Gaunt Brothers Racing, this is the Marty Gaunt Triad power plant underneath the hood of this Toyota. He's trying to make his first Daytona Cup race. He has 3 Xfinity races at Daytona with a best finish of 17th.
Yeah, a couple of guys were telling me they thought this car was pretty much a shoe-in to make it. It's good body on this car, and it's got a real good engine under the hood, and should have pretty decent speed.
In practice yesterday, he ran a couple of tenths faster than what we saw to LaJoie and Timmy Hill and Earnhardt. So curious to see if he backs that up. A little wide off of turn 4
got up off
there.
of turn 4. Well, that cost him a little time.
And he's quickest, 48.17. Benny Parsons?
Benny Parsons.
Yeah. Now, this is Tommy Baldwin's number 7 car. He was one of the chartered teams last year, but he sold his charter. So the 7 is an open car. And veteran Elliott Sadler is going to try to make the Daytona 500. For Baldwin, it will be his 14th start. He was the runner-up in 2002.
Every time I see that Kids Eats Free, I think about Dave Blaney. Because this car, this car, when I think the race at Montoya hit the jet dryer over there, Blaney was sitting over in this car in the lead at that time.
At the red flag.
Tracking right in there with Sorensen. It's going to be close to whether he can get ahead of him and pretty much lock himself into the Daytona 500.
Now, he'll run the entire Xfinity Series. Sadler will this year, while Tommy Baldwin's going to run some modified races and do a bunch of different things this year. Daytona 500, Gene Need, the crew chief. And because we're qualifying in the inverse order of practice speeds, we would expect that every car that goes on the track has the potential to be faster than all the cars that have run before it.
Most everybody's been so far around a tenth quicker. So a couple cars in there, a couple of tenths, but most everybody about 1/10 over what they practiced.
The Benedetto is the first car to break into the 190s average speed, so should start seeing that continue to creep up.
This is Landon Castle from Iowa. Donnie Wingo's his crew chief at Front Row Motorsports. He's been in 4 Daytona 500s. Started 3rd here in the July race in 2014.
And who was Trevor Baines' crew chief when he won the Daytona 500?
That would be the aforementioned
Donnie Wingo.
Donnie Wingo. Right. Top of the chart, 47.28. 190.3 is the speed.
Just a little bit quicker than yesterday. Best lap, 47.93 yesterday.
Michael McDowell from Arizona. Levine Family Racing now with Chevrolets, and Todd Parrott, the crew chief. This will be McDowell's 6 Daytona 500s. Todd Parrott has 3 Daytona poles and 3 Daytona victories to his credit.
I was going to say, we talked about having experience down here at Daytona. Todd definitely has had some great finishes and some great race cars down here.
Listen, there are some amazing crew chiefs in that garage area. There's guys in there working on cars that have won the Daytona 500. There's guys in there working on these cars that we don't talk about a whole lot that have won championships.
McDowell comes to the stripe, and he is 3rd, 47.
Last October, so no big surprise other than all the trouble that they've had since they've been down here.
That's a 10th quicker than he ran yesterday, by the way.
Jamie?
Well, Ryan Blaney waiting and watching. We were just talking about how so many drivers say there's not much we can do in qualifying here. It's all about the car. But there is a place that you really focus on. Where is that?
You know, with a lot of it is the car. A lot of it is, you know, these teams work so hard in the off season to get our cars as fast as possible, whether it's bodies or motors. So really the only things as drivers we can do is, one, hold a smooth wheel, but also getting off pit road is really important to not stall it or bog it down, because it's hard to get these cars up to max speed in just one lap. So that's really the only job that we have that we hopefully don't mess up. And we worked hard on that yesterday to try to kind of maximize your pit road exit speed. But it's nice. I think we have a really